Hey there, welcome to Tim Talks Cooking. I'm Tim, and today I'm going to make a really special dish. This is actually the national dish of Quebec called la poutine. Poutine is a dish made with fries, melted cheese curds, and brown gravy, or some other kind of sauce. Today we're going to make the traditional version. I think you're going to love this dish, so let's get started.
I suppose to clarify, I should mention that when I say the traditional version, I mean I'm going to use fries, cheese curds, and brown sauce, but I'm going to keto-fy it here. The traditional version is made with potatoes, and the brown gravy is made with flour, of course, with the traditional roux. We're not going to do that. We're going to change things up a little bit. Today, what we're going to use are these three root vegetables. These are tubers, just like potatoes, but they're low in carbs. First of all, we have a big old turnip. Next, a jicama, and I also have here a daikon radish. Well, I broke it on the way home from the store, but that doesn't really matter. Look at this piece. It's really the perfect size for making French fries out of, as you'll see in the next segment. What you'll need besides that is some cheese curds. These are cheddar cheese curds that you can buy in most grocery stores. Here in the United States, I think they're kind of expensive. I paid about $10 a pound for these. But this is what you want, and if you really don't care about the authentic dish, you could use cubes of cheddar cheese or something. Look at that. These are kind of funny shapes, and it's just kind of an interesting cheese. It melts well, and this is what people use in Quebec. They insist that this is the cheese to use for this dish. What you'll need as well is 2 cups of beef broth. I've read a lot of recipes in the last couple of days, and many of them use a cup of beef broth and a cup of chicken broth. You do whatever you like with that. You're also going to need a half an onion that's been diced pretty finely here. I've also got 2 egg yolks that we're going to use to thicken the mixture with, as well as a little bit of xanthan gum. We also have some kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper, as always. Next, let me show you how to prepare these vegetables. First, I'm going to start by cutting off the root end, and then here the stem end of the daikon radish, and of course any blemishes that we find, we're just going to cut those right out, like I'm doing here. There we go, set that aside. There's a little bit more. And now we want to peel the vegetable. Do this with all 3 of the vegetables, of course. We don't want any of the outside peel. And now that we've done that, we can cut the pieces into fry shapes. I'm going to cut this in half here. And then we'll just set that aside in here. I'll cut this in half again. Wow, in quarters. And then I'll cut each of those pieces in half yet again. And look at that. Still a little big. I think I'll cut that in half as well. And there we go. And as you can see, I've done that with the turnip and with the jicama here. Next, what we want to do is make the brown gravy. And I'm going to start off by using 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter and heating that up and then sauteing our onions in it until they're translucent. When we get to that point, as we have here, I'm going to add in the 2 cups of beef broth. And I'm going to give that a stir. And what I want to do next is bring this up to a boil. In order to do that as quickly as possible, I'm going to put a lid on this. And there we go. And now we're going to turn the flame down once it does come to a boil and simmer for 10 minutes. When that time is up, we're going to use an immersion blender or some other kind of blender to puree the sauce so that it's completely smooth. And next, to thicken it up, I'm going to take the sauce over to the countertop so that we can add in the egg yolks. Now, we can't just add them in there. We're going to scramble them. We just toss them into our sauce. So here I'm going to mix them up a little bit, and I'm going to do what's called tempering them by adding just a little bit of the hot liquid to them at a time. We're going to start with a very small amount like here, and we're going to gradually add a little bit more while we stir it constantly. And as you can see, this isn't turning into scrambled eggs. It's turning into a nice smooth sauce. And add a little bit more. And there we go. I'm right-handed, so it's easy for me to do that with my right hand. Now I'm going to add in just a little bit more. And we're getting to the point where there's no danger anymore that our eggs are going to curdle, and so there I'm going to add them back in and return to the stove. And now here, we're going to do over medium heat. I'm going to give this a stir, and this is where I'm going to add in the xanthan gum and stir it until it's well incorporated. Now you notice after a couple of minutes it's going to start to thicken up, and when it does, you can stop stirring it constantly, turn the flame down, and we're going to let it simmer for about 15 or 20 minutes while it reduces by about a quarter. Next, we're going to fry up our vegetables. Here I've got grapeseed oil, about 2 cups, makes about 2 inches in the bottom of my pan so that we have a nice area to fry up the vegetables. I'm going to bring this up to a temperature of 350 degrees, and to make sure I do, I'm going to use a thermometer. You may want to do that as well. When it does come up to temperature, we are going to carefully lower in our vegetables, at least some of them. You don't want to crowd the pan too much. Don't do them all at once. Here we're going to fry them up until they're golden brown. It takes about 5 minutes. I'm going to lift them out and transfer them to a paper towel lined plate to absorb some of the excess oil. And then I'm going to do the rest of them in about 2 more batches. I'm going to keep them warm with a little aluminum foil. Here we've got the cheese curds incorporated with the really fresh hot fries. And here, in order to finish the dish, I'm going to just pour over a little bit of this beautiful brown gravy. Look at that. I'll tell you what, I'm hungry now.
Well, pretty much all that's left for me to do here is to give this a taste. Here we're going to get a little cheese here with one of the fries, maybe a turnip fry. Oh, wow. Just delicious. They even have a little bit of a crunch to them. I think you're going to love this. The brown sauce is totally correct. It's really delicious. The fries, well, look, they're not potatoes, but they're really pretty good. With the cheese melting in there, wow, this is just such a great dish. I really hope that you'll try it. And I also hope that you will like, share, especially on Facebook, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It helps you find my videos, especially if you click on the notifications bell. It also helps my channel grow. Listen, thanks so much for joining us here at Tim Talks Cooking today. We'll catch you next time.